There you go. Now we're recording.
Brian's familiar with the Google Slap, yeah, Brian?
Yeah, you guys missed everybody's wins. Big wins all around. Felicia's doing big things. Brian's doing big things. Jim's doing big things. Adam's doing big things. I'm doing big things. We all had some wins. Now we're recording. All right. So, Brian, you're familiar. Felicia, you're familiar.
Kinda. I mean, I've heard about it.
Okay. Basically, what was it? Around 2008, Adam?
Yeah, 08, 09. I think it happened over a period of a couple years, I guess, or something like that.
Basically, everybody had their eggs in the Google basket, and Google came along and said, no more paid advertising for make money from home stuff, right? And
just against this industry.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, I don't know if it affected other industries as well, but
yeah, so, anything with a make money message. So, you know, network marketing, affiliate marketing, internet marketing. I mean, it was all attacked.
So it seems that, you know, of late, Facebook has started to make some changes. You know, I saw some information that they weren't going to allow like gates anymore. That was like, you know, first major change. And like gate is where you force someone to like your page to get to the next thing, right? Like, hey, you know, like this and get this. And the reason, I mean, what we have to remember is that the reason for these changes is always to improve user experience, right? Mm-hmm. And to improve the platform as a whole for marketers and the whole nine. So the reason they don't want that is because companies were giving away iPads, etc., in exchange for likes, even though iPads had nothing to do with the content of the fan page. You know, it was like win an iPad and I am a dentist. You know, and then what you have is you have a boatload of unengaged fans. And so it messes up everything. It messes up the user experience, messes up the fan page, messes up their advertising information, you know what I mean? Like from a standpoint of targeting. So, you know, that was the first big announcement I saw. Then I saw that they were going to start cracking down on what was called, I think they call it, I wrote it down today because the guy mentioned it, clickbait. Okay, so clickbait is when you have kind of a deceptive message that's really like leading people, forcing people to click. Like, oh, you know, man like walks in the jungle, you'll never believe what happens next, right? You've seen those, like those kind of things. And then when you get to the website, sometimes it's not very relevant information. And so what Facebook is doing is they're really cracking down on that, and they're measuring it by bounce rate. So if somebody goes to your website and then jumps off your website super quickly, they're seeing that as, you know, a sign that your content was not congruent with your upfront message. So then, obviously, you know, their policies state, you know, no, you know, biz op, make money from home, all that different stuff. I mean, Jim, when you remember when you were trying to get ads run and they were getting shut down, that was the message you were getting, right? Can't be money message, can't be make money from home, all that different stuff.
Yeah, can't even have it in your domain. Yeah.
So basically, you know, they seem to be taking that much more seriously. And the biggest thing is that they want, from what I've heard, okay, is the money message. You know, straight MLM home business money message is a very risky proposition from a standpoint of Facebook ads. Now, training, things like that, marketing training, you know, as long as it's not super money messaged or, you know, or super home business message, seems to be, you know, nobody knows yet. You know what I mean? Like, you can only take that information. But, you know, if you're out there doing a webinar on how to get leads with YouTube, that's a lot different than saying how I made $7,600 in, you know, X amount of hours. And so I think a lot of people are going to tread cautiously right now when it comes to the money message. Another big thing is what your fan page actually, what the function of your fan page actually is. Facebook apparently does not want people creating fan pages that are functioning really simply for advertising. Okay, so one of the big things that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to post on your fan page regularly. And not solicitations, but value-oriented posts that drive engagement. You know, so a lot of us have a tendency to get kind of lazy on our fan page, and we use them for advertising. Everybody needs to make a conscious effort. To the person I was talking to today said, use Ray's fan page as an example, right? Ray really doesn't post. He posts, his stuff is very entrepreneurial, very inspirational, loads of engagement, value-packed. Okay, and it's not, if you go there, it doesn't scream MLM. It's not plastered with links. It's not just for ads. Okay, and so nobody knows what's going to be okay and what's not going to be okay. And I think what we'll end up seeing is much like what we see with YouTube and other platforms. For one person, it's going to be okay, and for the other person, not so much, because they leave their guidelines very gray, and they have complete control.
Yeah, like for example, what do they mean by regularly? I mean, is regularly once a day or once a week or several times a day?
Basically, the gist I got from some of the information I reviewed today was that all your fan pages get kind of this score, okay? Right. And who knows what their algorithm is that determines, you know what I mean, what kind of score your fan page deserves. One of the big things is ads can now be hidden. Okay, people can now hide ads when they're coming through the newsfeed, and they're now I think they could hide ads, but now they're being prompted to say why they're hiding it. And so if you're getting a lot of ads hidden, right, doesn't bode well. If you're barely posting on your Facebook page and you get no engagement, and you're getting ads hidden, you know, like I don't know what the collaboration of things is, but it's basically a call. I mean, what I know is just a call for best practices, right? I mean, the way they put it was, and it's right in their vocabulary, is they want to encourage a space of good advertising citizens. So we want to be good advertising citizens. We have to make sure that our message matches with our audience. We have to make sure that it's not hypey or super money messaged. We know that home business is always in that kind of area. So, you know, we just have to proceed with caution. Some of the mentality behind it was, and it was very interesting because I was talking to somebody yesterday who worked as a lawyer, kind of in the very, very, very background during Facebook's whole IPO thing. And she said their job was to review all the lawsuits against Facebook. And she said it's astronomical, like the amount of lawsuits, right? And like the amount of privacy policy lawsuits and all this different stuff. And so I think that you know, the way it was framed was that is that they want to protect themselves too. You know what I mean? Like when you've got to make money from home space, getting out there, and some of it, you know, is fringe. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there that isn't on the up and up. You know, so that's basically what I can say, is watch your messaging, watch your domains, you know, what they have in them, stuff like that. Post regularly, try and keep it clean, make sure that you're targeting well and not hitting audiences that, you know, in other words, don't throw Hail Marys. Don't go outside of our audience by any means and say, I wonder if this audience will respond, because that's probably not the right audience for your ad, and if they hide your ad a lot. One thing I heard, and I'm just telling you what keeps popping to mind, was Facebook is going to place more weight on ads hidden by people who don't regularly hide ads. So if you have somebody that doesn't hide ads regularly and they go and hide your ad or hide your post, hide your fan page post, you know, that's going to hold more weight with Facebook. So they're just making big algorithm changes, basically. And some people have seen ad accounts get flagged. One of the biggest marketing companies out there in our niche that handles a lot of accounts has had their clients' ad accounts get suspended, have had, you know, some people have lost fan pages. And that's just kind of the deal, you know. Some of the information I saw walked through the way, like what happens, like the people I talked to at Live the Dream that had it happen to them. they got a message that said, like, you know, you got to verify your account because there's potentially fraudulent activity. Somebody tried to log in from wherever. And then there's a process that you go through, right? And it's a lengthy process, and apparently sometimes on the back end of that process, that's not just the reason, okay? And I had some information. I can't recite it all, but it was a process. If you were to lose your ads account, what the process is you go through. But basically, if somebody has been deemed unsuitable, you know, completely outside of their guidelines, like as somebody they don't want advertising, and you appeal to Facebook, like there's a whole spectrum, but if you're on the end of the spectrum, you won't get a response from them. Their internal instructions are to not respond, right? Like, because, you know, and some people are getting a response. Like, some people are going and getting like, hey, you know, it shouldn't be suspended. This is wrong. That's wrong. This is why. And being very detailed. And some people are getting a response, but apparently there's groups of people that are just on the outside looking in. So that's kind of the most information I have for you. I mean, questions, maybe a question will bring something else to mind, or any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, when you told me the other day on the phone, you know, it looks like a Facebook slap is coming. I mean, my first response was, well, I'm not surprised. and you know that you know, it's funny because when something like that happens, it really does separate the serious business owners from the people that are just like, it's like with the Google slap. I feel like it you know, because some people got wiped out because they were just totally reliant on that one thing, which, you know, there's a lesson to be learned there. You know, don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? But at the same time, I feel like during that Google slap, I think a lot of, you know, the people that were committed and were smart, you know, they zigged and they figured out a way and they capitalized on the opportunity. And then the people that were just, you know, that had only learned that one thing, that didn't learn, you know, that probably didn't even take the time to learn the principles of marketing, you know, they just learned, like, okay, I just click here and do this. Like, they didn't take time to, like, learn the fundamentals. Those were the people that got wiped out when that happened. And that's better. That means more opportunity for us, you know, for those of us that are willing to adapt.
At the end of the day, you know, it's just when we were in a mastermind with Ray, Ray said, you know, I thought my lead flow was really going to go down when my YouTube channel got taken away. And he's like, and I really didn't see an effect.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's proof that if you market to build a loyal audience and you deliver exceptional value and you do it the right way, you know, without hype, without trying to find shortcuts, you know, without finding the hottest, latest marketing strategy, when things happen, you survive, right? You just, life goes on. Nobody can take your blog away. They can't take your list away. They can't take your fans away. They can't take the connection, the relationship, any of that stuff. It's when we rely on the hottest marketing strategy that this stuff happens. And, you know, we saw it happen a year and a half ago with all the Google updates, Google, Panda, and Penguin, right? And people who had been doing all this black hat SEO got crushed. You know, I mean, I know, as when the updates came, it hurt me. It didn't hurt me as much as it hurt many. But the reality was that was kind of like my first wake-up call that said, hey, you got to be a relationship-driven marketer, you know, not a marketing strategy-driven marketer. And all the more reason, guys, for you to create content, all the more reason for you to network, right? All the more reason for you to not be hypey and to do things the right way, you know, to build in a way, rely on the compound effect and rely on the right stuff rather than chasing shortcuts, which we're all human. You know, sometimes that traffic source comes along or that idea comes along and you know, you see it and you're like, ooh, you know, I can't wait to do this, or I'm going to do this. And the reality is it never lasts. So we don't know what I mean, who knows if the person today, I've heard it referred to as like the next slap, but then the person today referred to it as like the Panda update, the Panda and Penguin update, that, you know, was going to leave a lot of marketers behind. So that's kind of the deal.
Cool.
Thoughts, guys?
I'm right there.
I think it actually could.
Go ahead, Jim.
No, I was going to say, I think it actually could be good. Coming from an industry where, in the construction arena, when the housing market went down, all of a sudden we had all of the big home builders entered into my marketplace, which is the high-end remodeling side. And as a result of it, the work got thinner and the profits got thinner. So what happened was the people that didn't work it well, that didn't run their businesses well, and didn't have a good handle on what to do, lost out. They just went out of business. And so it wiped out the people. And what it actually did was it made a better place for the people that remained and the people that survived, because it gave us a much broader audience to work with.
And it makes you stronger,
yeah.
Right? I mean, it makes you, you know, there's so many people. I talk to so many people that are down and out that didn't adjust to the real estate crash. Okay? And then you see a guy like Ray Higdon who said, hey, I wasn't seeing the writing on the wall, I didn't adapt, right? And he turned around and did what he did with his life. It doesn't mean he had to leave real estate. It just meant he had to fix his life, right? He had to get better. He had to be strong. And I talk to people constantly that were running hot when it was easy.
Right.
And they can't figure out what to do now that it's hard. And it wasn't really them that was creating the success. It was the wave that was creating the success.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's such a good point, because like that was the way it was during the Google slap. It was like all these people. I mean, there were like I'm telling you, it was so much easier to make money online back then, because all you had to do was, if you just could follow some very simple instructions and you had a marketing budget and you had something that converted, then it was a piece of cake. It really was. And there was some people that did very well in that time. But then there were people like me who came into the industry at that time who didn't have like ridiculous marketing budgets to just throw at it. We had to figure out the social media and the Web 2.0 and the all the other things. And then when the slap happened, those people basically got wiped out, and the only reason they were doing well is because it was easy, right? And once they figured out, oh my God, I gotta learn this, I gotta learn this, I gotta learn these principles and stuff, they were out of there, they were gone. And then it was the people like me and the other people that were there at the time we had to figure out those harder ways of doing it that were actually strong enough to survive over the coming years, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, my sponsor in MLSP, guy I know, he was doing AdWords back then, and he was in Vima, and he was like hitting the leaderboards in Vima. Okay, I think he did like a $60,000 a year just in Vima, like not like selling affiliate stuff, not any of that stuff, like just in Vima. He went from like 0 to 60. Just like that, all with AdWords. Yeah. And the reality is since I haven't seen him break through in anything. And, he really doesn't stick with it long enough, but it just was easy enough to do back then.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, Felicia?
I haven't been in the industry long enough to really have any thoughts about any of that history. I mean, all I know is that, I lost my YouTube channel, and that sucked.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what I did wrong. I still don't know what I did wrong.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can't look at it like you did do something wrong.
Yeah, evidently I did. I mean, I lost my channel, so I'm just not, I mean, Facebook, none of those are my primary strategy anyway. I mean, I post 6 to 10 times a day on Facebook anyway.
Yeah.
as far as following those rules, I do that. I guess that's all I can do.
Cool. Brian?
I agree with what Adam said, and you mentioned something about relationship marketing. And I think that's one thing, I actually wrote that down as one of my wins that I didn't save, but, me and you had this conversation last month about getting people around your campfire. And I've noticed with Facebook pay-per-click, I might get 12 leads today, but 6 people unsubscribe today as well. Because they don't really know who I am kind of deal. Now, that's not saying I couldn't do better with my message, my emails coming out or whatever. But it really got me to thinking the people that I build relationships with, they buy. They stick and stay, and they buy again, and they buy again, and they buy again. And I'm with Adam. I think it's going to be a good thing if they do, because I don't like a bunch of spam and incongruent messages. I've hidden posts on my wall before because it's just junk. So I don't really think it's going to affect what I'm going to use Facebook pay-per-click for.
Yeah.
Because anymore, I really think all I'm going to use it for is to drive it to my stuff. I've got my webinar scheduled for Tuesday. I'm going to do one of those every week. It's training, and then I'm going to hit the back end with MLSP. So
I think for me, I'm looking at it like webinars are the best play. Like driving people to a live event, they get on, they get to know who you are, and one of the big things was also making sure that your message in your copy is totally congruent with your capture page to reduce that bounce rate, right? To have somebody if you're using a certain if you're using certain image and certain copy to get people to a webinar page, make sure that it speaks the same story. And what you'll see is, I think you'll see the days of using replicated system links gone altogether. I know MLSP's links already have a problem on Facebook. I know Mobe's links, I think, are a no-go on Facebook. I think Jordan, his company's links are a no-go on Facebook, and Power links are a no-go on Facebook. And what you want to be careful of is the redirecting people to, banned links. If you do it cloaked for sure, like where it stays that URL. I'm not sure if that's a way around it. Again, I don't know. This is just really so everybody's got their antennas up. Here's what we don't want to do. When nobody knows, like when you don't know, you don't want to get out in the marketplace and send everybody into a tizzy. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to create a panic, because the game of telephone will tear this into something ridiculous. And you've got a lot of people out there that rely on Facebook marketing. You've got a lot of people that sell products that are Facebook marketing related. You've got a lot of people right now that just live the dream and bought Facebook products, right? And this is still somewhat speculation, so the best, you guys are mastermind people, you're professionals, and wanted to just kind of get you in the loop that this is the buzz, and it'll make its way to the marketplace over time, if it even comes to fruition.
Where are you learning all this from?
Dribs and drabs. I had a couple of top marketers at Live the Dream tell me they got their fan page or their ads account. I don't know if it was their fan page or their ads account. I think it was their fan page suspended, plus ads account. And they had gotten off the phone with another top marketer, and he was rebranding because he had MLM in his business branding. And he was rebranding to be more generic marketing, right? Like marketing solutions oriented. And so I reached out to a couple of people in that circle today, and one of them sent me a video done by a top social media marketer in the space, company that handles MLSP, social media marketing, company that, they handle a lot of big accounts. And it was an informative video there. And most of it was not spoken in absolute. It was spoken in, hey, here's what Facebook says, here's what we see, here's what we've heard. They mentioned what was absolute, they mentioned what wasn't absolute, they mentioned how they see it, that kind of thing. It wouldn't be fair. I'd love to tell you names of who got lost their fan page or who is changing this, but it's just not my place to say.
Cool. Want to kind of shift gears, go to live the dream a little bit before I get into some of my stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, but just to close that out, the reason we say that is A, to keep you guys in the loop, right? I mean, you guys deserve to know that. We don't want you guys out there doing whatever. It may not. It may just be more scary than anything else. But the reality is like we said, this stuff thins the herd. And there's a lot of junk out there, and there's a lot of noise out there. I mean, we get spammed. You guys get spammed every single day. And you're like, I wish we could just raise the behavior of this industry up. I wish we could just raise it up. And at the end of the day, that's all these platforms are trying to do, is they're just trying to provide a better user experience with better behavior for their users, right? And we have to understand that there's always going to be a marketplace for what we have. What we do is legit, and this is a product of bad marketers. That's what it is. Cool. Awesome. Yeah. So let's talk Live the Dream. We wanted to have this call. I mean, obviously, Live the Dream is a travel day for a bunch of us, so we wanted to have this call. We figured it'd be better to have it after Live the Dream versus before, because you guys would have experienced the event. What were the takeaways? That many, huh?
I think what I was saying earlier about building the audience, that's something that really got honed in with me at Live the Dream. Really started to understand about that vision. And, one of the biggest things that I pulled away is I went to this event to really network with people, to really meet some of the people in MLSP. Last year I was sitting in the seats. I was sitting up on the front row. I was listening to everything. I was taking notes. I was taking videos. I was doing the whole 9 yards. And I don't know, about halfway through the second speaker, I was just kind of like, I know this stuff. I really do. I'm going to go hang out with some people and really have some of those deep conversations, kind of, mastermind.
Yeah.
I remember one night I went out to eat with Marty and Dave DeMarco. And, that's when y'all were at the Driscoll. And just sitting there eating, and I was talking about some of my video stuff, about how hard this camera was, this SLR camera, because Dave, he's into the editing. And so we were talking about programs and doing all this other stuff. And he's like, man, that's an easy fix. He said, just buy QuickTime Pro. He said, download it from Premiere, load it up in there, and he said, you can export it out in a file that looks better on YouTube. And I was just like, wow, that's worth $30. And I was telling him, I said, what do you shoot with, Dave? He just held up his cell phone. And I was like, really? Seriously. I said, no, seriously, what do you shoot with? And he said, well, this is what I shoot with. He said, I've got a $12,000 camera if I do something professional. And I said, well, I'm not going that deep. But I told him I wanted to get rid of my camera. And I said, I can't get anybody on eBay to even give me $300 for it. And I said, that's $100 less than what everybody else is asking for it. And I said, it's worth $300. And I want to get another camera. And Marty, he said, oh, that's simple. He said, do a webinar on video editing. He said, you're not going to get that many people on it. He said, charge $20 for it. He said, in that webinar, he said, let people know what's possible with video editing. And then he's saying that at the end of it, upsell them to take 3 to 5 people on a hangout and do really in-depth one-on-one, here's how you edit a video, here's what you use, the software, here's how you add the overlays. He said, charge $100, and he said, give the freaking camera away as a bonus. He said, you'll make $600 or $700 off that camera you want $300 from. And I said, that's it. I said, that made my trip right there, So, just hanging out with those people and that's really what I enjoyed out of it. Hanging out with Felicia. Me and Felicia hung out a lot, and that was just, it was huge to me just to be able to be confident enough to do that and not worry what Bill and Michelle were talking about, really, kind of deal. You know what I'm saying? So
Not
I mean,
worry.
that was just huge for me. Do what now?
Don't worry that you were in the bathroom at the wrong time.
Oh yeah, that was funny. I told I told Brian Finale when I was up on stage. He said, "Man," he said, "I hate you missed this earlier." And I said, "Well," I said, "later, and I'll tell you why." And I told him at the end of the event, me and him were talking. We got a big kick out of that, so that was hilarious. But yeah, just an amazing event. Absolutely loved it. Can't wait to go back. I wish they were having another one next weekend.
Yeah, it's the one event where I always wish it was like 4 times a year.
Yeah.
Felicia, biggest takeaways?
Well, I went very similar to Brian. I went to network. I mean, the information's great, but all of the information that was shared there is available in other places. I can watch webinars. I can gather all of that information at home. So that's not really why I went. I definitely went to network with people. I wanted to see the differential between the people that, I guess, what it really took to go from the people that are brand new and just starting, kind of where I am, to the people that are up on stage, to the people that are hosting the Wednesday webinars, to the people that are actually making money in this industry. I wanted to see what the gap there was, not so much from timing, but from skill set, from commitment, from dedication, and prove it to myself one way or another that this was even a valid. It was worth my time. It was a valid thing to do.
Yeah.
Versus, if I'm going to work, I may as well go back to the corporate world where they hand you a check on day one, and be done with some of the tears and the heartache and all that stuff that comes along in this industry. So that's really what I wanted to do, and get to know people on a personal level, where now I can call Rob Ford. I've got zero connection with him other than he's Bert's sponsor and Bert's my sponsor, but I couldn't call anybody. So, now having that kind of relationship with somebody like that, because I'm completely clueless in the area that he's a specialist in. So that's what I really went to go seek out, are the people that I could build that relationship with, that I would have no other way or no other reason to build that relationship with in any other environment, any other setting. I'm still having major event withdrawals. So I sent a message to Bert earlier today. I said, I really hate being by myself. I'm not having any fun today.
Yeah, in reality, there's as much a dose of that as anything for all of us. We all live behind these computers, and even those of us who know how real it is, even those of us who have experienced what's possible, it's still great to get out there. It's still a belief. It's still a shot in the arm. You know what I mean? And a reminder of why you do it, a reminder of the great people that you hang out with, and I mean, at the end of the day, that's the power of events, but Live the Dream just seems to be a special community. You know what I mean? Like, there's more to it. Like,
right. It's a lot different. I mean, I was the type with my first MLM. I mean, I was at every weekly event. I was at every monthly regional event. I was at every national event twice a year. I mean, so I went to all of the events with my primary MLM before. And as it progressed, I walked away from those more defeated, more angered, more frustrated than I was when I walked in, which is really disheartening when you spend the money, the time, and the effort to go, and you're not only you're not walking away with any information because they don't teach you anything when there's 12,000 people in an auditorium, but also you don't walk away with any new real relationships. And this is one that is designed to build those relationships. So it was priceless from that standpoint.
Yeah, no doubt. Adam, any takeaways, bud?
Yeah, a couple of takeaways. I just it really kind of got me thinking about it got me. How do I say this? I haven't promoted MLSP in all of 2014. Like, no doubt, the only reason they put me on their stage was because of the 100-day challenge. Like I have not promoted the system at all because I've been I joined.
Kind of a Hall of Famer. You've been there since the very beginning.
Yeah, right. Well, that too. I am probably the oldest, the longest running member of the system. That probably has a lot to do with it too. Yeah.
Bry's right there with you, right, bud?
What, Brian? Oh, Brian McDaniel. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Brian Finale. I'm like, well, he does own the company. But I don't know. It definitely made me really think a lot about the community, and that MLSP is a special. It's a special place. They've done something that very few others have done in the industry, that many have tried. And a lot of these other systems, it's like they come and they make a big splash, and then 2 years later they're nowhere to be found. And that is not the case with MLSP, and it's very much to do with the community, and it makes me want to be more of a part of it. Like I've been a little disheartened with MLSP over the last couple of years, and I think that this event really kind of made me want to be more of a part of the community. Personally, like it really made me want to contribute more to the community, because I feel like it's like I feel like I'm a part of something with the community. I think that's huge. And then just like Brian Finale, hanging out with him and spending time with him, it really does. There's very few people that I know of that have had the level of success that someone like Brian Finale has had, and still able to keep a real, level head about it. You know what I mean? I respect Brian a lot for that, and that's something that I'm gonna, model, continue to model myself after. And it was a big event for me personally.
Yeah, I feel the kind of the same way. I think that it reminded me of the power of the MLSP community. I think that every time you get around Brian and Norb and Todd, and you just take a step back, and you look at what great, humble, regular guys they are,
right.
And you just take a look at the amount of vision that they had to have, and the amount of faith, and the amount of balls they had to have to step out and start this community. And now, here we are 5 years later, or 6 years later, 5 Live the Dream events, and it's still going. And, and like you said, they come and go. Somebody was talking about a new thing they're working on, and in passing, like on their way out the door, somebody I don't know that well, he was like, well, if you're gonna, you should get in. Now's the time to get in. Like, this thing's red hot. Blah 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 blah. And I thought to myself, there's opportunity everywhere, every day. Like I've heard it 1,000 times before. I don't change direction in my business for red hot opportunity. You know what I mean? Because red hot opportunity. Easy come, easy go, like that. We've seen it. We see it over and over and over again. And getting into an MLSP event just reminds you of how special it is when something's stable. How special it is when there's something bigger than just the hype. And interestingly, the last night with Curtis Bloom, he went into about a 3-minute spiel. And that, I took as much away from that as I've taken away from any 3 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, it was awesome.
He's a pretty cool guy. I didn't know who he was. Did you know who he was?
They're rock stars. They're so unassuming, But Lisa's so unassuming. I mean, she's a sweetheart. But yeah, they're total rock stars.
Cool.
Cool.
Yep.
You ready to go into some of my stuff?
Yeah. Now, I mean, we did assign the ultimate sales letter. Do we want to talk copywriting at all, or are you going to talk about email copywriting at all?
Yeah, I will a little bit.
Okay.
But we could talk a little bit about. To be honest with you, I did not read the Dan Kennedy book.
Okay.
This was the first book out of all the books that we've assigned that I haven't read. So, we're going to get a jail free card, right?
I read through it in pieces. I've read it before.
Right.
And it's not a book that we're going to sit here and say, oh, this was the message of the book, right? It's like more of a how-to book.
Yeah, okay.
Did anybody have an aha copywriting moment? I mean, was there anything that anybody in particular pulled out or changed in their business, because of something they read?
I made it through 8 pages. So no.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of Dan Kennedy. I mean, I'm 100% going to buy and read that book just because I like Dan and I like his stuff, and it's an area that I know I can always improve in, and yeah.
Killer stuff. It's killer stuff. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's really how-to stuff. I mean, there were some examples in there when he talked about the way people respond to, like the big numbers, the sums. I love, there was an example he gave about, I forget exactly what it was now. It was about the amount of books, how big a bookshelf you're going to need for all the books we're going to send you for $19, and like just the way he triggered all these different little emotional things, big, I remember the most, I think the thing I'll remember the most out of this book is that it really helped me understand what the benefit was, and I think it was, and I learned it first in a webinar, and then I realized that the webinar was the 8 copywriting keys that are listed out in this book. But he gave examples of hitting the target audience and really making sure that they're hit with the benefit up front. And I think the example was insurance agents when he talked about like making sales on autopilot so you can spend time on the golf course. And that there was this whole period of time where this ad didn't work, but now that they put them emotionally on the golf course, everything changed. And like those are just little takeaways. But I mean, I pick this book up and I go back to it every time. If I want to write a sales letter or I want to write something, I flip through the table of contents and go where I need to go. What keeps your prospect tossing and turning at night, is a big one. Educating them as to the problem. Great example in this book. I mean, I'm really talking to Felicia, right? Jim, did you read it, bud? I love the example when, and I'll make this the last one. I love the example when he talks about the company that's getting stolen from, and he talks about twisting the knife when they're trying to get the security business of this company, and they're painting out this picture of how this person is basically being robbed by his employees, and it was very aggressive. It was really aggressive. I don't know. It hit home. I can't read it for you off the top of my head, but
I remember the point. I read it early in the month, so I don't remember a lot of the details. But I read it. I read it through, but this was my first time through, so I think a lot of it was just very high level, getting down to the benefit, turning the knife, all that kind of stuff. Not a whole lot of details have been remembered.
Yeah, this is like can be your copywriting Bible. What you go back to every time you need help writing copy. So highly recommended.
Cool.
You made it through 8 pages. 8 pages isn't even one sitting, dude.
And that
I'll tell you more than me.
I'll tell you what, Brian. I got back to you late on your headline, the Seinfeld headline. It would have been fundamentally different had you read this book.
Yeah, I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Well, it's all right. We're still going off with it.
You guys see my screen?
Yes.
Everybody else?
No, I got to highlight you. There we go.
All right, we good? We good now?
We are.
Okay, cool. So I want to share a couple of things here, couple of resources that I use, a couple of things that I do differently than I think most people.
Hang on just a second. What are we talking about at like high level?
What are we talking about? Well, I'm going to be sharing some stuff about traffic, and and email marketing.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a link tracking software that I use. It's called ClickMeter. So clickmeter.com. It's free up into a certain amount of clicks, and then it's like, $20 a month if you get 2,000 clicks a month. There are people I'm sure that probably are paying hundreds of dollars per month for this service, but they're driving, tens of thousands of clicks per month. Now, a couple numbers you'll see down here. So this is last 30 days, 9,617 clicks. This is not accurate.
What a great software.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the reason it's not accurate is because I have a lot of campaigns that are like, because of the way that I was told to do it originally. Like, I'm actually tracking the click, 2, sometimes 3 times in certain campaigns. That's why I don't pay any attention to this number. So, like, you'll see down here, this is the number of the last 30 days, and then this is the number of conversions. So this would be opt-ins. So 427 opt-ins, which is great in the last 30 days. However, this percentage, 4.43%, that's not very great, and that's not accurate because, like I said, sometimes I'm tracking the click 2, sometimes even 3 times, and it's only counting the conversion once. So, and this is just something that I've learned, just the importance of tracking, tracking your links. I mean, it's just something that you just have to do as a professional marketer. You have to know where the traffic is coming from, where the sales are coming from.
Especially if you're doing paid advertising. I mean, more than ever.
Especially if you're doing paid advertising. Yeah.
Just curious, does everybody on here know how to put the basic tracking pixel on the end of their link?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alicia?
Is that the T equals?
Yeah. Question mark T equals?
Yeah.
Okay, does everybody put those on the end of their links?
Yes.
No.
So, here's what happens, Felicia. You're going to get leads, and you're not going to know what part of your marketing is working. And I mean, it's when people start getting their first leads, that's like always my question. Well, where are they coming from, right? Because we want to put our foot on the gas and do more of that. And a lot of times the answer is, well, I don't really know, or assumptions, which can be even worse than I don't even know. You know what I mean? So when you have the opportunity, put those on the end, because you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised at how many of your leads come from very few places.
Right.
Would you agree with that, Adam?
Yeah, absolutely.
That you're going to see leads come in, and they're going to come from just a couple different areas, and you're going to go, whoa.
And like, I mean, I have some point, case in point examples of that right here. Like this 7 search, this was a campaign that I created in using this 7 search. It's basically like an alternative pay-per-click source, kind of like they have a network with search engines and other things, and people put in keywords, and your ads come up based on the keywords that they put in. And I tracked this, and I got hardly any conversions. I mean it's dirt cheap traffic. I mean dirt cheap. So I didn't really pay a whole lot for this. But you know, I spent some money on this testing it, and I mean they're like because I went as far as to track the individual campaigns, and if I click on this, it'll actually open up the multiple different campaigns that I have. So I had 9 different campaigns in here, and let's see, I think there's one conversion on this one campaign. The rest of them, nothing.
So, but theoretically, you could have driven traffic without tracking the conversions, and it could have seemed like the ad was doing pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right, exactly. But then you come over here, and I see my Facebook ad that I have running, and out of 1,531 clicks, I mean this is accurate. Like in the last 30 days, 1,531 clicks, 311 conversions. So that's a conversion rate of 20.25, and I think that's actually taking into account the non-unique conversions as well. So I think the percentage rate is actually a little higher than that. But this campaign is this is my bread and butter campaign, my Facebook campaign. This is where the majority of my traffic is coming. This is where the majority of my opt-ins are coming from, and it's this campaign right here. And then
I've got a question for you, if you don't mind. I mean, I'm curious myself and want to pull out information that'll help the group. In that Facebook campaign, what are you paying on average per lead?
About $3 a lead. It started off higher than that, but once the ad kind of matured a little bit, it got to about $3 a lead, and it's been consistently at $3 a lead for quite some time now.
I've heard something very interesting that I'd like to share when it comes to that.
Yeah, what's that?
And this was in speaking with Steve Jaffe, and this was secondhand from the guy, what's his name, Kurt Malley, that runs Black Box.
Okay.
That your ads need to run. You need to have expectations of running your ads for a while.
Right.
Okay, and then an ad really hasn't matured for several days at a reasonable budget. And what Facebook does, which I thought was really cool, just like they will split test if you put multiple photos in there, right? Everybody knows if you run an ad and you put multiple photos in there, they're going to show those photos, and then they're going to adjust accordingly and put the photo out there that's performing well. Just like you can optimize a campaign that's for page likes, you can optimize it for more likes, and Facebook will put it in front of audiences that are more likely to give you a page like. Might cost you a little more, but they will. Likewise, they have an algorithm that judges the activity on an ad, right? So the ad never ultimately very rarely reaches the entire targeted audience.
Right.
But what they will do is over time, they'll begin to collect data on those people that are converting and those people that are clicking and those people that are interested. And they will, just like they can create a lookalike ad, they will try and serve the ad to a better audience based on the algorithm.
I have suspected that they did that.
Yes.
Like I didn't know that, but I've kind of thought that was the case.
So the more data they collect as your ad is running, the better audience, according to their algorithm, they begin to put that ad in front of. So granted, you don't want to be getting $10 conversions, your first or second day of an ad, but you do want to be patient, on ads that are marginal and give them an opportunity to mature. Does that make sense, guys?
Yep.
When you say mature, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I've seen ads that I've run for 2 or 3 days at like $4 a conversion, and then see them drop down to $1.20, $1.30, and then see them kind of stabilize out at $2.30, $2.40.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, bro. I mean, depending on the budgets, right? Like it's just like a batting average thing when it comes to conversions. If you've only, if somebody's only been up to bat 10 times, and they've got 5 hits, and they're batting and they're batting 500. Well, it's very easy for that batting average to fluctuate up and down very quickly, right? With a few more at bats, with a few more hits. And that's what happens with our conversions when we're running. Adam's gone. That's what happens with our conversions when we run moderate budgets, right? I mean, when you're back. So when we're dealing, I don't know what kind of ad spend you're doing, but if it's not in the I want to say 30, 40, 50 bucks a day range, then then it'll take that much longer for that number to be really accurate. Yeah. When I'm talking about ads maturing, what I'm talking about is Facebook having been able to collect enough data.
I got you.
Right?
Yeah, Google does the same kind of thing. So, I mean, yeah, I get it. I just kind of wondered your experience with it on Facebook.
You know what I noticed on Facebook was that my pricing went down after I was concerned because I was getting a lot of likes on my ads rather than conversions. But when I got a lot of likes on my ads, my pricing actually went down. So that goes right along with what you're saying, that they're monitoring what's going on, they're building their data, and that's how they're adjusting the pricing.
The better your click-through rate, the more your prices, the more activity you get on an ad, the more your price is going to get driven down. What was interesting, and then I'll let you get back to it, Adam. I didn't mean to like totally come over, but this was a conversation I had with Steve and with Andrew, and what's interesting is like Andrew was saying, every time he tries to take an ad and change it from cost per click to cost per impression, or make a change in that ad, okay, the click-through rate drops terribly. And what we, as talking, and this isn't official, but this is what we kind of all put our heads together and said, well, Steve said maybe it's likely that the data, when you make a change to the ad, okay, it's like resetting their data, right? They now have to collect data again to determine what the best audience is. So now it starts going out in front of just anybody that's within that audience. And, of course, the click-through rate's going to drop because they were catering that ad slowly to an audience that it better serves. So that's my 2 cents.
Cool. Okay, now let me show you a couple more things here, and then I got some other software that I want to show you. So this was a solo that I ran a couple weeks ago. So this is just one solo ad. So 228 clicks and 41 conversions for that one specific solo ad. And now this guy's traffic was a little expensive. I think it was close to $1 a click, or like 89 cents a click or something like that. So I think I paid about right around $200 for that. But I mean, he's known as having some of the the guy's known as having some of the higher quality traffic, right? And that's why he can charge a little bit more, than others. But at the same time, I'm not tracking this on a sales conversion standpoint. So to be honest, I mean, I don't know. I don't know which one of the. I'm tracking it on opt-in conversion, but because I don't know, I could have gotten two sales off of these 41 clicks, which would have been phenomenal, or off of these 41 conversions, which would have been phenomenal. But because I'm not tracking that next level conversion yet, then I don't know that. So I mean, even though I'm tracking more than most people do, I still have some things that I still have a ways to go, basically. Let's see what else.
Is this software complicated to use?
What's that?
Is this software complicated?
Oh no, not at all. No, it's like I create a new campaign, right? Create a campaign, name the campaign, create a tracking link, and then I get the tracking link and I paste the tracking link. So let me kind of show you like the overall strategy here. So this is what I do. I use this software, which is called Quality Click Control, and I paid about $200 for this piece of software here for Quality Click Control. And what this does is this split tests different landing pages against each other. So if I go into this one, you can see I've got this capture page. So this is one of my capture pages. Okay, this is this page, right? Okay, that's my main page that I've generated thousands of leads from that page. Well, thousands of clicks, hundreds of leads to that page. Whoops. And then where am I here? Okay. And then here's my other page, right here. Okay. So this is the other page. It's basically the same copy, but it's just, you know, different styles, right? Different backgrounds. And what this software does is it's actually split testing these two pages against each other, right? So it's basically going to tell me, you know, after I get enough clicks, which page wins, right? So it's tracking it evenly and saying this one converted at 25%, where this one only converted at 17%, right? So if I'm doing that, then I know, then I can get rid of this one, and then I can put another page in there and do another split test to see which one wins out. And that's something that I learned from this is something that I learned in a high-level traffic course from probably an 8-figure internet marketer. And he's like, this is how I have, 50, 60, 70% conversions on my capture page, because I'm constantly seeing which one wins out against each other. Now, you can do this in MLSP. You can't do it for different campaigns, but you can do it like you could split test just it's built into MLSP. It's one really cool. MLSP has some pretty cool tracking stuff built right into it, where you can actually split test like, a red headline versus a blue headline, or you could test like, a black background versus a white background. And that's built right into the system, but you can't do that, with like lead pages, right? You've got to.
You can actually in lead pages.
You can.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, no, that's right. No, I knew that you could do that in lead pages. But like if I'm tracking the pages against each other here, and then I'm tracking the links over here, I to get them to kind of coincide like that.
I want to drop a piece of advice to everybody as we discuss split testing. When you split test, guys, you only want one variable, okay? And you want there to be similarities. Like Adam's 2 pages were pretty much the same copy, different backgrounds.
Yeah.
It's not just 2 random pages against each other, because then you don't really know why one's converting better than the other. Is it because one looks different? Is it because of the copy? Is it because of the headline? Okay, I want to put this in perspective for you guys, because so few marketers split test, and I'm just starting to split test. But if you're getting passive traffic to something, or you're getting paid traffic to something, either or, and you have, now granted, you can't really split test like the opt-in box on your blog, right? But any capture page that you have out there that you're putting out there, if you're getting 1,000 clicks on something and it's converting at 20%, and you split test and you figure out a way, you test headlines against each other, and one starts converting at 23%. Well, that's a big difference. Well, what's really cool is now you can take this one away and create another 1 or 2 next to this one that's working better, and you can keep tweaking and keep tweaking and keep tweaking, okay, and literally turn that amount of traffic into something that's 2, 3, 4 times more profitable than what it originally was when you weren't split testing.
Right. That's exactly what like that's how that guy said that he was able to create, lead capture pages that converted at, 50, 60, 70%, because he just was constantly split testing pages against each other, and then just it's like okay, I got a 2% increase. Now let's get rid of the loser, put a new one in. Okay, this one wins, and it's just like gradual climb until he got one that was like, okay, now I've got a page that's converting at 56%. Like, that's sick.
How much more powerful is that than just driving more traffic to a page
right?
that be working better?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're getting. Yeah, I mean, you could triple your result with the exact same money spent on ads. The exact same clicks. Everything else is the same. So cool.
Hey Adam, doesn't that also the quality click control? You
Yep.
can set that up as a rotator because I have it as well. I just haven't done it, but I read it.
Yep.
And so if you get the same person coming back to your click over and over again, you can rotate into them a different, whether it be message or image or something, so that you see which one works and try to do it that way. So now you're testing against the same person for the different ad.
Oh, okay. No, I did not know that.
Yeah, you can use it as a rotator and make it do that.
Okay. Cool. So now what after I create this campaign, I'm going to get this. Now I can actually add more. I could split test more pages. I could put in 3-4 pages in here if I want to, but I always want to have at least 2, right? And then I would actually take this link, right? Then I would go over to ClickMeter. Then I would create a campaign. So I'll just walk you through this, right? Create a campaign. Call it let's call it Twitter Higdon. We're targeting Ray Higdon on our Twitter audience here. Okay. Create campaign. Okay, and then create a tracking link. Bam.
This is so far over my head, this stuff.
Then I paste in this link, right? Because this is our rotator link, right? So I paste in the rotator link, and then I'll put, I could name this whatever, Higdon 1, right? And then I would actually choose conversion. And now because I already set up a conversion before, I know that it's the RM conversion 1A, right? That means, so what this is basically telling me is like this is the conversion code that is put on my thank you page. Like it's already there. So I'm basically saying, show me any conversion that anybody who hits this thank you page from, this ad, right? And then I hit create link. I get my little link, right? Now this page. So now this I would put into my campaign, and it's going to track all the clicks, and it's going to track the conversion when they hit the thank you page.
And the other software is doing the split testing. It's
the other software is exactly, yeah. And then quality click control is going to be split testing that at the same time. So I'll even show you. So right here. So check it out. So I'm going to hit it once, right? And it goes there. And then I'm just going to paste the same. I'm going to paste again. Hit enter. Bam. See the split?
Yeah.
Yep. So now that's that's what I've been doing, and I've been spending a lot of time in sites like ClickMeter trying to figure out how to really get really good at tracking this stuff, because I have a lot of ads and I do a lot of advertising, and I'm doing a lot of different things, right? So I really want to know where it's all coming from, and that's kind of what I'm doing here. It's where I've been spending a lot of my time. Another place where I've been spending a lot of my time is Aweber. But maybe we can, before we go into Aweber stuff, do we want to talk about anything in here? Do you guys have any questions about any of this stuff? I mean, so like this is like the reason why people lose their shirt when it comes to paid advertising is because they don't do this stuff. They don't take the time to do the tracking and the split testing and all that, and it sucks. I'm telling you, it's not fun. It's really not. Like, I get a little bit of enjoyment out of it, but it's probably the least enjoyment that I get. I do like analyzing the numbers. I do find that interesting, but setting it all up and stuff sucks. But this is it's what separates people that do advertising and make it profitable, and people that do advertising and lose money. I really do think that.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, there, even those marketers that do not get into this stuff a great deal. I mean, even a guy like Ray, who's not really a heavy duty paid advertiser, you know, at some point you have to determine what customers are costing you, right? I mean, what customers that are coming through funnels are costing you. Right. Bottom line. And I know, you know, someone like Ray, I don't know if he's, you know, if he pays people to analyze the stuff or if he analyzes himself, but he's got a good idea of what people who buy this also buy this, right? People who, you know, people come through here, spend X. And, you know, getting down to the spend of the average spend of a customer that's coming through a certain set of funnels is really the name of the game, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Have you guys read Perry Marshall's 80-20 book?
No.
I haven't.
Ray actually mentioned it on stage.
Yeah, he mentioned it to me recently.
Yeah, I got the book about 3 months ago. Now, I've followed Perry Marshall since Carbon Copy Pro, right? You know, the definitive guide to Google AdWords, which is
right.
Like big enough to sink a ship, right?
Right.
He talks about a lot of this stuff in there. And, you know, Justice, I told you I was concentrating on a couple niche markets within AdWords. I'm in that stage right now where I'm trying to figure out how to split test this stuff. So this is very good information for me.
Good.
Now with Google AdWords, I can't use a short link, Adam. I mean, it's just not happening.
You can't use a little click link like this little guy right here. You can't use that.
I'm 99% positive. Now, like I said, I don't know everything about AdWords, but I'm 99% positive you got to have a website. I mean, like a real website, and you got to use like Webmaster Tools.
Oh, sure.
So when you get somebody that can do Webmaster Tools, which I've got a guy that can do that, I've just not sat down with him yet, but that's kind of where we're going. You know, where every new account we sign, we're actually going to charge because you got to do this. There's no ifs, ands, because I deal with that a lot with customers trying to get landing pages changed. And like you said, if I'm not split testing them, yeah, I can improve it, but I could improve it so much more.
Now, question for you, Bri. When you're setting up an ad in AdWords, is there a display link and is there a difference between what you put in as a display URL and the URL that they land on?
Yeah, we just put in like their main website link for the display.
Okay.
And then, you know, if we're advertising, just for instance, I've got a guy that does nursery supplies, right? So we'll put in the website name, and then under that we'll put the website name / greenhouse film to take it to the landing page. And
I would think that may be the place where the short link can go, and if not the short link, then there's got to be a software out there that will provide you tracking codes to put on the end of your legitimate website link.
Oh yeah, we've got tracking. I'm not worried about that. We track everything down to the keyword. But nobody in my industry really talks about the split testing part.
Gotcha.
So important. And that's why one of the reasons I want to go into these two niche markets, because none of my competitors are doing this. And I just know I can get major results once I figure out how to do that within AdWords. But if I can't, it's got to be the same website, Justice. I can't, it's like putting in a different URL altogether.
Yeah.
But now, I don't know that this software won't work. I don't know how it works. That's the reason I'm just kind of throwing that out there.
Yeah. And if you already have tracking codes that you use, have you ever tried any link rotators for split testing?
I've never heard of you talking about just different pages?
No, like there's stuff out there, and I don't know how they work. Okay, but the way Adam flipped the URL back and forth when he put the same link in there, you can create link rotators. I don't know if it can be done with the domain name, you know, through a plugin or not. I have no idea. But
the only way we've ever done it to this point is in Webmasters.
Okay.
You can actually put a code in on the website that every time that link is put in, it flip-flops pages. So, I mean, we can do it through Webmaster Tools.
Gotcha.
I know. That's just a specialized skill that I don't have.
Gotcha.
So, I'm going to have to subcontract that out. But anyway.
So, yeah, so, I mean, you know, the point that I really want to make with this is, like, you know, it's like, I mean, it's like something like Facebook. I mean, you've got nowadays you have the conversion tracking built into it, and that's that's really cool. I mean, that could save some people's businesses right there in itself. But like, so many people are just have the traffic, like the idea of what it takes to win in the game of traffic, so wrong. Most people think that it's just like, it's like a certain strategy or something that's gonna, it's like, oh, just tell me how to create, Facebook ads, or how to create winning ads, and that's what's gonna get me traffic. And it will, but I mean, I'm talking about long-term winning the game of traffic, and this is what it comes down to: is tracking, split testing, things like that.
Goes back to what we said before, right? I mean, you can hit the traffic gold mine because everybody wants, like, what's the best interest to target on Facebook? What's the best capture page to use? What's the best solo ad provider, right? What's the best? But it's the skills that give you the longevity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
And I just want to make a point, because I know everybody on here markets different. I know, Felicia, this is the furthest out of your wheelhouse, probably out of the bunch, because you don't do paid ads. But I want you guys to understand that there was a point in time in our businesses where tracking codes and split testing and all this stuff wasn't part of our vocabulary.
Yeah, it was a foreign language.
And it doesn't mean that this, and understand this, Felicia, this stuff as a philosophy is not just for paid advertisers. Okay, from a principle standpoint. And I mentioned Ray earlier when you were up. If you go ask Ray, what people buy when they come through his funnels, okay, he knows people that buy this also like to buy this, right? Because it's tracked. People that get this stuff also like to get this stuff. So no matter where the three of you are at in your business, or the other students when they watch this, it's very easy to go like, whoa, this is over my head, right? Because I can say the same thing. It's over my head. Don't do this stuff. But from a principle standpoint, understanding it is very valuable in the future, right? Because as you fine-tune your business, you want to make your business more efficient no matter what. And if we're all going, bigger and bigger and bigger, there's going to be a day when you want to hire somebody. There's going to be a day when you want somebody to handle this stuff. And there's always a fundamental language that needs to be spoken for you to be able to hire someone and communicate with them without losing your shirt, right?
Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and speaking of, what was it you just said, Justice? Like improving your systems, making sure things run. I can't remember exactly. But speaking of that, here is. I mean, we're all building a list, right? Or a big goal of what all of us do is to get people on our email list, right? And one of the things that I'm doing right now, I'm almost done. This email right here, this goodbye email, this is going to go out tomorrow to complete my second re-engagement campaign. So this is my new list, all the people that opted into the page that you just saw a minute ago, like those 2 pages. Like I've been having people opt into those pages and similar pages with similar copy for the past, I don't know, 6-8 months now, something like that. And let's just look at this list and see what we got going on here. Create and manage subscribers. Okay, so on this list, we have 2,484 subscribers on this particular list. So these are the people that have come through the pages that you saw a minute ago, right? 2,484. But if I put in date added, date is before, let's say September 1st. Okay, and then so let's just do that first. Okay, so search. So people that were added before the 1st of September, so basically in the last month, that brings the audience down to 1,671. Now if I search again, not search. Now if I hit add, I'm basically adding a new criteria here. So I'll say no opens. Okay, so they came on before the 1st, and let's say they haven't opened, no opens since August 1st. Okay, so they came in before September 1st, but they haven't opened an email since August 1st. And then I search again. That tells me that 793 subscribers have not opened an email from me in the last 60 days. Now, one thing that I've learned from this high-level email marketing coaching program that I bought earlier this year is that if you have unengaged people, you have to get them out of there, because if they're on your list and they're ignoring you, it's just like what we were talking about earlier with some of the Facebook stuff. It's like if your audience is totally, if it's totally irrelevant, if you create some type of a like magnet that says, like our page and enter to win a free iPad, then you could be communicating a message that is totally irrelevant to those people. And that's something that the service providers like Gmail and Yahoo they're trying to do the same thing, right? They're trying to improve their user experience. So if you have a ton of people that are not engaged, that are not opening, that are not clicking on links in your messages, then and your open rates are really low. I mean, the industry average open rates are 2 to 5%. If you're playing in that space, then the service providers like Gmail and Yahoo and MSN and all these email service providers it will affect the deliverability of your emails. So you could have somebody that just got on your list who is totally excited about you and everything that they're seeing from you, but because your open rates are low, like across the board, your emails will still go to their spam folders, right, or their other folders, right? And this is somebody who's totally engaged. So the way that I see it, if somebody is engaged and if they want to see something from me, then I want to make sure that I get anybody who's unengaged. I want to give them a chance to get back on, to get engaged again. And if I give them that opportunity and they don't re-engage, I want them off of my list, because that is going to affect the deliverability of emails to people that actually want to receive my messages. Now, is that clear so far?
That's cool.
Okay. So 793 have not opened in 60 days. Now, this is what I did. I created this little segment, okay, like did not open, right? I named it, I saved it, and then what I did was I broadcast messages specifically to that segment. So let's see here.
So these get set up. This is not a follow-up series. This is a set of broadcasts.
Yes, exactly, correct. Yes, exactly. So here was the segment. No opens 8/1/14. So no opens since August 1st. I actually did do August 1st with this one. So I set it up a couple weeks ago. So I didn't actually do a full 60 days. It was like something like 54 days or something like that. But this was the segment right here. So you see everybody in this, except for this one, because this was a broadcast that went to. This was a content. So this content went to everybody, right? Other than that, like all these are to this segment only. Okay, see that? And you'll also notice, like, okay, this is where it started, right here. So it starts here. So the first email that got sent out, like that's kind of a cool little subject line, right, for people that that hasn't opened in 2 months. Hello, knock knock. Anybody there?
Just curious, like what is the content of these emails?
Okay, I'll show you that in just a second. Let me just so 14 people open. These are people that have not opened anything from me in 2 months. I got 14 people open. So this was sent to 818 subscribers. You see, as the series goes on, the numbers get smaller. 818, 805, 795. 792, right? So there's not a ton of people that are opening. I mean, it's not that big of a segment. Plus, these are people that they haven't opened in 2 months. So
And you
You know,
just did this once a little bit ago, right? I mean, you've already like re-engaged the list once, right?
yeah, but this was the other list. So I re-engaged my main list, like my big list, and this is my attempt at doing that with my newer list,
Okay.
right? And now one thing that was really cool about it is because I had already done it once, it was really like all I had to do was copy and paste, and like I did the entire broadcast in one sitting, and like I broadcasted it. I sent the messages to go out like before I left for the event, and I was like, okay, this one goes out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, and then the next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. I did it all in one sitting, and then I didn't do anything. Then I just took a step back, and it's been running like this the entire time. So that's one thing that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool about it. But like, so okay, so here's where it starts. Knock knock. Anybody there? So let me look at this one. Let's look at this one. I mean, we're not going to go through every single one of them, but we'll go through some of them.
Just so everybody on here is clear, the reason the number keeps going down with each one is because once somebody opens the email, they no longer qualify as being part of that segment. So you don't have to worry about them getting hit with the other emails, right? Once they don't meet the criteria that Adam said anymore, then Aweber recognizes that they're not part of that segment.
Right. So re-engagement, content is a big part of re-engagement. You want to send them. So check it out. Hey, it's been a while since you've opened or clicked on one of my emails, so I thought I'd check in on you and let you know what you've missed in the last 60 days. And then I just put a list of all my best pieces of content in the last, like, since the segment, right? And I want to make sure that it's only things that I've created in that period, because I don't want them to have seen any of this in their emails. And if they haven't opened in 60 days, they haven't seen any of this content. Like, it's been going out to people, it's been going out to the list, but they haven't opened the email, so they haven't seen it, right? So then I just put all my best content, like all the best content that I've created in that period. I make a little list of it, okay? So it's just, you know, another reason why you should be doing content, right? So here's the content, and then so we're going for engagement, right? So I'm giving them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm giving them 8 chances to re-engage by clicking, right? And also you could see how their blog posts and YouTube videos. The reason why I didn't do all blog posts, because I have these YouTube videos here are in blog posts. I could just send them to my blog, but we're using third-party validation here. So people recognize YouTube.com more than they recognize MeetAdamChandler.com, right? So that's just one of the principles here. I know that with travel, family, and the daily grind of work, it's hard to stay on top of things, but you subscribed to my list because you wanted to create an income from home and or build your current business with more speed, pleasure, and ease. So you'll forgive me if I give you the occasional poke just to make sure that I haven't somehow slipped through the cracks. Talk soon, right? I know that time management is something we all struggle with, so as an added gift, I thought I'd give you this free productivity resource that I was recently introduced to. I guarantee it will help you get more done in less time. Again, third party. This is not my thing. This is somebody else's tool, right? Really works. Best of all, it's free. Da 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 da. So pretty simple, yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff.
Right. All right. Let's look at a couple more. Okay, so you can see these okay. This is the first week. It was this was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I skipped Thursday, and then Friday, I need your help. So at first it's talking about, are you stuck? And then it goes, I need your help. So here, let's look at these two, because I think these two are quick. The are you stuck? Okay, so are you stuck? There are lots of things in this world that can get us stuck. So what has you stuck? Tell me here. Now this goes to a little one-question survey that I created. Okay, so this is the Help Me Help You ultra brief survey from Adam Chandler. As a member of my email list, what type of free training would you like to receive more of? Now, because these are a lot of business opportunity people, I put this option in here, choosing an opportunity that's right for you. But with my other list, I didn't put that because my other list, when I did this with my big list, these were all people who had an opportunity already, right? So this didn't go in there. I had another option for the third option. Okay, so it just goes to this one question. It's a one question survey and it's multiple choice, right? So tell me here, just so I know that I'm delivering the right kind of content to you. Seriously, it'll take less than 30 seconds and it will truly help me help you. Here's the link again. It's literally just one question. Thanks in advance. Okay, so now there's that one. Now let's look at the message that they get the very next day, right? So this is what they get the next day. Or no, this was Wednesday. They got "Are you stuck?" Wednesday, and then I skipped a day, and then Friday they got "I need your help, please." Okay, so it's taking a little bit of a different tone. You're rather than saying "How can I help you?" you're saying, "Hey, can you do me a favor?" Right? And now here is, all right. Huh. Oh, it's just loading.
Has this one been sent yet?
Yeah, it's been. These have all been sent.
Who thinks this stuff's pretty cool?
It's good.
Right? I mean, the fact that you can segment out that list and
I actually used this. I was on his email webinar that he did, and just taking all kinds of notes because that's one of the places I want to get better at. And I had a pretty big list when I was marketing Zija before, compliance shut me down. And I just sent out one email. And I was just pretty blunt and to the point about it. And it was funny because I had 4 or 5 people respond that said, yes, please.
oh, what, taking
I
off the
loved
list?
it. I said, hey, no worries, man. You're gone. Have a great day.
Yeah, my best emails are a couple of times I've said, "Should I delete you?" or
Yep.
like that stuff, and those get the best opens.
Right.
I think that's what I put. I'm going to delete you.
People hate missing out.
Yeah, they hate to be taken off lists, right? That was said at Top Earner Academy, like on the third message, like, "Hey, I'm going to take you off my list."
Yeah.
And that's where you'll get the biggest callback because people hate being removed from lists.
Right. So this one just takes a little bit of a different. I'm burning the midnight oil to produce a new series for you, but I want to make sure I'm covering topics that you are most interested in. Will you go here and let me know if I'm on the right track? And then it's the same survey, right? If you do, you'll be helping me shape the content I send you each week and making sure it is as relevant as possible to your individual business needs. So can you do it now while it's fresh on your mind? It'll take less than 30 seconds, literally, and I will be forever grateful. So it's more of a, let me, do me a favor, right? So that's the first week, and now the second week, it's a little bit more in your face, right? And it's like, should I remove you kind of language, right? So here it goes. Monday, Monday, I want you back. Tuesday. What, you like that one, Justice?
Yeah, I do. It's like you keep going back and forth with them. It's like, hey, what? Like get lost. Wait, I need a favor. Like, get lost. Oh, wait, I want you back.
Right. I want you back. Claim your mystery gift. Am I still welcome in your inbox? And then this was the content that I sent out to everybody yesterday. And then should I unsubscribe you? That went out today. And then is this goodbye? This is going out tomorrow. So 741 minus 11, right? So 730 people are going to get this email tomorrow, and anybody who doesn't open are going to be out of there. I'm gonna save the emails. Like, I'm gonna save them in an Excel sheet, and I could do something with them later on. But they're getting removed from this list to improve my open rates.
Hey, Adam, let me ask you. What are you going to do with them later on if they're not interested? I mean,
one thing I did was I created a custom audience in Facebook using the emails, to re-engage them like that, to get them to re-opt in.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a few people to re-opt in, but they were kind of expensive, so I stopped doing it.
What was the original number? You said you're down to 730.
Yeah, these seven. So all it is right. 741 minus 11. 730 are going to get this tomorrow.
So what was the original number that started on the first email? The amount that you sent out.
I believe it was 818.
Okay, so by the end of tomorrow, you will have re-engaged 100 people.
Yep.
Out of 800. 813.
Yep.
That's pretty powerful.
Yep.
And you can get the dead weight off your list.
Yeah, exactly. And I want
to
those
do this. My list is so big. I could re-engage so many people and get rid of so much dead weight.
You could. When I did this to my main list that I hadn't done it to, I think I got it was 3,000. I mean, it was like almost 4,000. I got about 700 of them to re-engage.
And how big was the list?
It was just under 4,000, or no, 4,000 that were on the segment
that hadn't opened in. Because I've got over 12,000 active right now.
Right.
And I know that segment's going to be huge.
It's going to be huge, dude. Yeah, I mean, yeah, dude, you got to do this. I mean, it's affecting your deliverability. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this almost does the same thing that Facebook forces marketers to do. This actually combs through prospects and ends up delivering back to the person that's combing the list a much better prospect list.
Exactly. No doubt about it.
Right. Yep. So that's what I have for you guys. That's what I wanted to show you.
That's it?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, this email stuff is fascinating me. It's a currently a missed opportunity. So yeah, I got.
I mean, it's just just one of the ways that we can tighten up our infrastructure. I mean, it's one of our main processes. It's one of our main audiences, one of our main processes. We have to get better at it. We all do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not, and it doesn't. I mean, the setup is kind of tedious, but theoretically, it's not hard.
Yeah, no, it's not hard. And once you do it once, I mean, I couldn't believe how. I mean, when I first created the whole re-engagement campaign, the first time I did it, I mean, it was time consuming. But the second time I did it, piece of cake.
Yeah, it's just copy and paste after that.
Yep.
And this all goes back when I took Diane's summer school last year. She was talking about having an engaged list. She said something about Bert winning the 100-day affiliate with a smaller list. She said it'd blow your mind. And that's one of the reasons I've taken what Adam's saying and purging my list. I mean, I'm even blatantly coming out telling people, look, if you're the idiot that's complaining about my emails, here's the button. Click on it. Go away. I mean, get out of here.
Right.
I would rather have 500 people on my list that actually open them and engage with me than to have 12,672 people.
How'd you know the number?
Because just what you said. It's great information. I think Aweber is one of my most opened windows.
Yeah, it definitely is for me.
I haven't dove in yet, but everybody, the Aweber Pro Tool. Have you been using that, Adam?
No, I really haven't, and I have to. I've been hearing some good things.
What is that?
It's a plugin for Aweber that can help you track and tag your people and segment them better. Okay, it makes it kind of capable, like closer to being as capable as an Infusionsoft is.
Yeah.
Okay, because see, like people that use Infusionsoft, like even someone, I'll go back to Ray who doesn't do paid advertising. He knows what his people buy. They all get tagged. Okay, and so the objective there is to watch those patterns, see what people like. If they buy this, they also buy this, so on and so forth, and then actually cater the follow-up to suit the behavior of the people that are coming through. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah, absolutely.
You know, like Caesar's funnel is done through Infusionsoft with all kinds of tagging. Caesar's funnel is like a choose your own adventure. Okay, when you come in the front door, he has a questionnaire, and it's, you know, are you familiar with MLSP? How did you find out about me? You know, are you in a company, et cetera, et cetera. And his goal is, see, if he wants to be a guy that people send their teams to. Hey, you got to go see this guy's stuff. It's so good, right? So he can't be pitching his primary company to those people. So he asks this questionnaire up front, and the emails change based on how you fill out the questionnaire. And then they change based on whether you've opened or not. So in other words, like if somebody opens, like if you skip an email for 2 days, you don't just get the next email. You get an email that says, hey, did you miss this? Right? Like it's set up to respond to their behavior.
Which is huge for engagement.
Huge.
Yeah.
Huge. It's like you're re-engaging during the autoresponder process.
So why don't we use Infusionsoft instead of Aweber?
Because it's super technical and it's super expensive.
Yeah, it's like $200 a month for one thing.
But you know, Andrew put it in perspective for me this week. I think they got it at a deal. I think it was $1,200 up front and $300 a month. And he said, you know what? He said, Justice, what do you pay for your Aweber? I said, $150 a month. He said, what do you pay for one shopping cart? I said, $99 a month. I said, what are you going to pay for Aweber Pro Tools if it comes? $30 a month? Right? It's like, wait a second, you're getting up to that $300 a month mark.
Right.
You know? So, I don't know. I may consider it.
Yeah. All right. Moving forward, Justice, I mean, we never discussed a book.
I have one in mind that I know Felicia has probably read or is reading. Did you do The War of Art yet, Felicia?
Ooh, I want to read that. Totally.
You did do it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What do you think?
What about, what do I have on my stuff? On my list, I've got influence, jab, jab, right hook. What else is on my list?
No. Well, I mean, what do you think of the one?
I was asking. I just started it, and it was pretty compelling right off the bat. It spoke to me because, you know, it was just right up my alley. What's that?
It's very good. What was the other book that he sent to us, though?
I don't know. I think that's the only one I have.
Hang on a second. I think he sent me 2 books. Hang on.
I'm down for The War of Art. Let's do it.
All right.
What is it? The War of what?
The War of Art, like you know the book The Art of War, kind of famous ancient book.
Well, then, Felicia, you'll get a reprieve because you've already read it, and you'll be able to contribute when we.
That's no problem. I read a couple of books every month anyway. Hang on, let me see if I've got it.
Cool. And then next time will be Thursday, the last Thursday of this month, which will be
the 30th.
Yeah, that's not going to work this time around. Not for me.
Is that the 30th? Is that?
What is
okay.
it, the 30th?
We're going to be in Destin.
Oh yeah, I'm going to be in Destin too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So do we want to now that we're on the first Thursday of the month, do we want to keep it to that?
We may have to push it, yeah, because I'm going to be in Destin.
As well, because that following Thursday also is going to be Thanksgiving. And that whole in November.
Thanksgiving is the first Thursday of November?
No, isn't it the last one this time?
The last Thursday of November will be Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so
Right.
if we keep it the last one, then again we would
We're
have to
hit Thanksgiving again. So maybe we need to shift it.
So that's perfect. So then we just keep it to the first Thursday of the month from here on out.
Because that keeps us from Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas.
Yep, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Okay, and so I mean, obviously this is a lighter group here. You know, last month I went into some stuff that I've been working on. This month Adam went into stuff that he's been working on. You know, just so that we can get our finger on the pulse with you guys. You know, we want to keep an idea of what you want to learn. We told you guys that we were going to shift out of the rah-rah stuff and into some higher level marketing stuff.
And we've been doing that, right? I mean, you guys have seen that in the last couple sessions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So where do you have particular areas of your business that you would like to learn about?
I would like to learn how to, you know, this is something Diane talked about too in summer school that I'm not confident in it. I mean, maybe I understand it, but I'm not confident in it. But that message to market and match. Who are your customers? You know, like me and Felicia talked about with our blogs, you know, I've kind of figured out now that online marketing is what I want to give my people.
Okay.
But, you know, how do you build that audience where you know your people, where you know your emails are touching the right people, where your marketing's touching the right people, where everything's congruent? That's something that's on my mind.
Okay, so determining your message and making sure you're targeting the right audience.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds kind of simple, and I mean, I think I kind of really understand that, but it's
really hard.
The more I think about it, the more I'm like, hell, I don't know if I'm targeting the right people or not, you know?
Yeah, it's like two different segments, too, isn't it? Isn't it like determine your message and then determine your market, your target, or would you do it the other way?
I think it's kind of the other way around. I see it the other way around, where you know, you have your target audience and then you decide what your message is and who, you know, what you're fighting for them. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I think, Brian, it is fundamentally one of the hardest things in this industry, and I think, Felicia, at this point, you'll probably second that, right? I mean, this is like, you know, you're getting pulled in different directions on that, and the reason is because there's a gray area. We're not dealing with just one industry here. And there's a gray area, and there's a gray area in the expectations of the audience, and there's a gray area in the training that's out in the marketplace. And there's a big crossover, right? What industry are you really getting leads for? What are you really marketing for? And I think when people come in not understanding that gray area, and then you have to realize over time, and I mean, we've been saying this in some capacity, you know, that you, and I said it in the hotel room the other day, like attracts like. You know, when we were raised mastermind, like attracts like. And you have to make sure that you're presenting yourself in the marketplace in a way that's going to attract the prospect that's right for your product, business, service, opportunity, whatever. And the biggest misstep is where where we go high-level internet and say we're doing it for network marketers, and we're not attracting networkers, okay, all we're doing is muddying the water some more, right? Like, whereas people that want to be network marketers have to get out there and teach some network marketing stuff. And if they're going to teach internet stuff, it's got to be basic stuff. It's got to be networking on social media. It's got to be that kind of thing. You know, it's got to be something that lends itself to somebody being able to get out there and connect with people quickly without the technical hubbub.
Well, the duplication.
What's that?
Easy duplication.
Yeah, it's got to be duplicatable. And then from a standpoint of how you present yourself on social media, you got to be the person that's going to the company events. You got to be the person that's, you know, doing that kind of stuff. Doesn't mean, and just I want to be really clear, doesn't mean that you can't do high-level marketing. Okay, it does not at all. You can do the highest level marketing you want to do. It's just a matter of what your message is in the marketplace and how many levels deep somebody goes before you're going, okay, come here, let me show you something, right? Because the reality is, and I mean, I had this conversation with Curtis Bloom, and Curtis, you know, is talking about how he gets someone started in network marketing, and he's doing this whole thing, and I'm not going to go into it because we've gone 2.5 hours, but you know, basically he said once it's step one and the person's done step one, No ifs, ands, or buts. Then it's step 2, they've done step 2. Then it's step 3, they've done step 3. He says, that's when I say, come here, I want to talk to you, right? And he says, that's when I kind of, I open the door, I bring him in the back room, and I say, here's the deal, you want to take this thing to the top? Yeah. Okay, well, I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna tell you exactly how it's done. Okay, but here are my rules, and he's real postured. He's like, you never waste my time, like, you never make me wait, you never come up not having done what I laid out for you. Like, he had all these, he was very like, boom, for the next 2 years, I'm the boss, right? Like, this is what you're going to do. You're going to show up every day and do it. And then 2 years from now, you'll have what I tell you you're going to have, and you're going to open this door and you're going to have this conversation with someone else. Like that kind of, thing. Now, that's all, he's talking from a traditional network marketing standpoint. Online, okay, you're going to have people that come to you, if you do the network marketing thing, you're going to have people that come to you and say, hey, I want to learn how to blog. I want to learn how to do this stuff. I want to learn how to, track links and do all this different stuff. But they're the person that's done step 1, step 2, step 3, right? So in the marketplace, you're like on step 1 and maybe a little bit in step 2. Does that make sense, Bri? I mean, that's not a way for you to determine your message, but it's an understanding of how we need to treat our marketplace in the network marketing side of things if we're building network marketing.
Yeah. And, and I follow you as far as the gray area. I want to build network marketing because I want to build residual income, but that's definitely not my skill. My skill's more online stuff. I mean, that's just what I've been studying for 6 years. You know what I mean?
The way I'll tell you guys, the way I see, I mean, I'm not in network marketing at the moment, but I will be, and I see very, very generic lifestyle-driven funnels, that are mindset, that are make a choice kind of stuff, that are change your life kind of stuff, right? Keep it simple kind of stuff. But what drives people to funnels? Internet marketing, right? I mean, that's how you get someone in the funnel. So
yeah, I'm not even so sure I know how to set up a funnel for a network marketing business, for an opportunity.
It's interesting because I think I'm probably going to be sending a message out to Vince Reed. Him and I talked a lot at that event, and I'm sure he's got some insight as to how he would do it. What did he sponsor, Adam? How many people did Vince Reed sponsor personally in his network marketing deals?
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, something ridiculous.
It's in the, yeah, it's
guy or something like that.
It's crazy. It's crazy numbers.
Yeah.
So you want to know a little bit about determining your message, Bri, right? You want to know about determining your message, how to connect it with the right marketplace. Jim, Felicia?
Yeah, I think that would be a great thing to cover, even if you cover it in 2 different segments, so that we see, first how the, where the audience is, and then what the message is. So how we determine the audience, that seems like it could be quite a segment.
Felicia, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going through that right now. I'll definitely be done with that and have it solidified before we get back together again. The things that are on my plate, and I don't know which ones I'm going to tackle first, is one, putting together compelling copy on capture pages, primarily for opting into webinars. I know we've talked about that, at some level, but I still need to get better at it to really get the person to want to engage with me, even if they can't attend my webinar, if they're not interested in that webinar, how to still get them to engage with me. So that's one thing I need to work on. And also a little bit more complex funnels where somebody may opt in, and this is one that I'm gonna figure out over the next few days or maybe a couple of weeks, hopefully, is if somebody opts in for that that worksheet that I did, the 90-minute worksheet that I did, I want that to be my opt-in offer on my webpage because that's more congruent with who I'm wanting to talk to. So I want that to be my opt-in offer. But then on the back end of that, I want to re-record the webinar that I did with that, because I stumbled a little bit on the webinar because I'd only done it once. I want to re-record that webinar, and I want that to be like a $7 upcharge. So, but I have zero clue how to technically put together that funnel.
So funnels, basically. So we can talk about creating funnels.
Start getting in really pretty specific at that point. I mean, that's where it's maybe a little bit harder in a group setting like this. I don't know, does anybody else want to do that? And it's also traffic. Right now my list I feel like my list shrinks as fast as it grows because I'm doing the go out and reach 10 people a day and get 3 to 5 on your list, but then I lose 6 or 7 a week. So I may gain 15, but I lose 7 because people are just being nice to me. I'm like, hey, look, I got this newsletter. Want on it? Great, I'll put you on. But I know it's just because they don't want to be rude and tell me no, they don't want it, when the next day they unsubscribe. So I got to figure out how to get a real list.
Well, don't discount your list. It is very real. Okay, not everybody may be on there for those reasons. But one, you're making some adjustments to your blog that Ray talked about. Mm-hmm. 2, you and I are sitting down on Monday, and I'm showing you the optimized press stuff that we talked about.
Right.
When we do that, you'll have a little better of an understanding of the funnel, like how to create a funnel. So rather than, that's going to be a month away. I'm quite confident you want to have that stuff done a month from now when we come on here.
Waiting a month.
What's that?
Yeah, I'm not waiting a month.
Yeah, exactly. So, I discussed at the mastermind that we would talk optimized press. So I'll show you that stuff then.
Cool.
Any other thoughts so that we know that we're giving you guys what you're looking for?
I like the funnel idea based around network marketing. I think I've already mentioned that, but I just want to reiterate that. That's,
I don't have any of that kind of stuff out there.
I don't have I've tried doing it before, and just really felt out of place with it. Not, just an idea, like I said.
Okay. Well, here's what I don't know what your thoughts on this, Adam, but for me, a primary company funnel was always a secondary funnel. I never led with it.
Right.
It was always
that we could really train on that since we have never done it ourselves.
Well, never led with it, but I have done different primary funnels that are in my emails, in different parts of my website. So we can talk about options for that. I don't know that I have the ultimate answer for it, but
did Vince lead with it, or did he do a back end deal?
I think Vince led with it.
Really?
Through paid advertising.
Very interesting. I didn't know that about him.
It's something I'm looking into anyway. It's something I want to start working on something. So, I'll start doing some research. If I know some stuff by this month, then I can talk about it. If I'm not there yet, it'll be something we'll have to put off.
Yeah, and we'll talk about it. In private later, Justice. We'll
yep.
Based on this and stuff, we'll put something together for these guys.
Absolutely.
Cool.
All right, guys.
Awesome.
You guys keep rocking.
Hey, is there anything we can do to try to reel some of the other people back in?
What's that?
I say, is there anything we can do maybe to try to reel some of the other people back in? I hate to see, I'm sure there's schedules and things like that, but certainly I don't have a problem with because that gives us more.
Amelia isn't here because she had a family emergency, basically. She had, some people have fallen off, but it's not like this is the group now. You know what I mean? Some people aren't here because of just regular things that have come up that have taken priority.
Yep.
So I don't know. If you wanted to reach out to anybody on an individual basis, go right ahead. But
Yeah, I'd encourage it. You guys had it. There was a you guys have a good relationship with them. We send the emails out, we send some messages, but sometimes it may be best to hear from a peer. So don't hesitate. Even if it's a, hey, how's it going? Been missing you the last couple months.
Yeah, right. Seriously. Hi, guys.
All right, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Thank y'all very much.
Night.
Good to see you again. Y'all take care.
Good night.
You too.
Good night.